get very nervous coming into camp. It's funny because we were at USA, we were at the Olympics this summer, and we were all sitting on the bus, and I think it was me, Kay, Book, Bam, we were all sitting in the back. And just hearing everyone back there talk about like, man, every time I get to camp, I just feel like I didn't do enough. Like, I just feel like I ain't working enough. And I was like, oh shit, like I feel like that every year. And so it was just very comforting to know, like, you know, we all go through that same thing where you like coming into camp and you worked your ass off, but you still feeling like, damn, I don't think I did enough. So it was good to know that other great players have that same feeling. I don't even know why I talked about that, but I feel great.
What's up, Draymond?
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm good.
We haven't really talked to you about the moves that the Warriors made this summer. What did you just think about the plan that they enacted, which is drafted the lottery picks, and they're clearly trying to win now, but also kind of develop the layer of players under you guys?
I mean, I think, you know, that's the plan. So regardless of what I may think about it, or what anyone may think about it, that's kind of the route we're taking. And, you know, in the position that I'm in, you just have to, you know, do all that you can to make it a success. I don't think, you know, historically we have not seen that work, where you kind of got a mix of old, I wouldn't say any of us are old, but older. Andre's old as shit, actually. But, you know, a mixture of, you know, experience and hardly any experience. You know, historically, I think in just being a fan of the NBA, I can't recall the last time you've seen someone have success with that. But in saying that, that's our situation. And so you do what you got to do to make that situation work. And so that's where we are. At the end of the day, as a player, you don't make those decisions. You go play, and so you control what you can control. And so that's where I am. That's where I know Steph is, and Clay's in a totally different place. You know, he is solely focused on getting back and, you know, trying to come back the best player that he can be. And so now it's on, you know, the challenge is on us as leaders to drag the young guys along, to try to show them the way, to try to get them up to speed as fast as you can. And, you know, it'll be a bunch of trial and error, I'm sure. You know, you got guys who got to learn on the fly. And then you got guys like Jordan Poole, who's, you know, played a couple years. And, you know, you really saw the game slow down for him last year. So you hope he can take another step, which I have no doubt that he will. As I've said a million times, he's one of the hardest working kids I've ever seen. He's not a kid anymore, but young guy. Works extremely hard, always in the gym. And so you know, you hope and believe that he will take that next step. You know, you got Juan, who's like an older young guy. I wouldn't say old, he's 27, 28. So not old, but a little older for a guy that's in his second or third year, whatever it counts as, but doesn't play young. You know, you got Loon, who feels like he's just as experienced as I am. And so you got that mix, and, you know, you just go along and try to figure it out as you go. And then I think the pieces that we added in Otto, you know, in Belly, you know, those are guys who's been in the league for a while, and so you add experience there. And then, as I spoke on bringing old man Andre back, I think helps everybody, because when he's on the floor, even talking to Bam this summer, he's like, man, when I'm on the floor with Andre, it's just so easy. You know, like, he makes the game easier for everybody. So, you know, I think we have a pretty good balance of young and experience, and, you know, you just try to bring it all together and make it work.
Draymond, Coach Kerr said that you got your physical body assessment and jumped right into drills. You wasn't even sure if you were supposed to do that for the live stuff, but how excited were you to get back on the floor?
I was extremely excited. I definitely snuck into the live. They thought I wasn't. Tried to tell me before practice, no lie. They even didn't take me, expecting I wasn't going live, but it was great. My team won a few games, so that was good. But no, it felt great to be out there. I mean, I haven't just been sitting around, you know. I've Still been working and trying to make sure I come in ready, close to ready to go. So today was good. I felt great out there. It's good to be out there with the guys. Everybody always say, you get your off season, man, you get to relax. I feel busier in the off season than I do in the season. So, it's kind of good to get back and you just got that structure and kind of know where you're going to be every day and doing that. So it was exciting for me.
We don't know exactly what was going on before, but I've heard guys talk about being on the floor kind of as a sanctuary. Does that act that way for you at all, just being out there with the guys?
Yeah, I think when you try to lose yourself in the game, and most of the times you do. I think basketball has always been there for me. It's just like, it's always been an outlet where no matter what's going on, you can kind of lose yourself in it. I think as we continue to learn more and more, you try to be aware of that. But it's always been there for me. I think I had one time in my life, actually like a week ago, where I was on the court and I couldn't lose myself in the game for one day. And it was weird, but shit happens and you kind of have to deal with those things and and so that one day I couldn't lose myself in the game. That's probably the only time I've ever not been able to lose myself in a game. So yes, it does act as that for me.
What's up, Mr. Green?
What's going on, Mike?
I've heard guys say this, guys who've gone through international play and won medals and stuff. You got 2 goals now. What are the
NBA
things?
championship.
Well, that was that kind of matters a little bit too. But what they always say is that those experiences give you things you can apply to your regular NBA job. And I'm wondering, what are those things you've learned, not just from the first time, but from this last time over in Japan?
I think this last time I learned a lot more than I learned the first time, just because I was so much more involved with this one. The first gold medal, I was just kind of there and got me a gold medal, and it was great. No one ever asked, like, yo, how much did you play? You won a gold medal, and you did what you had to do to be on that team. This time was totally different for me. I had to be, important to winning the gold medal. And it was a hell of an experience. And I'll be totally honest with you, I have a totally different appreciation for this medal than I do for the first one. For the first one, it was like, damn, I won the gold medal, this is great. For the second one, I feel like, damn, I earned the gold medal. This is incredible, And not even that I earned it from the standpoint of me playing, because even being there the first time, like, you contributed, and I played in some games and was in down the stretch in some close games. Coach Pop was showing film. He showed this clip of like us playing Serbia, where I helped Serbia, and I helped off Bogdanovic. Their names are so close that I couldn't. The Bogdanovic in Atlanta, I helped off of, and wide open 3. I don't know what the hell I was doing, and then, like, for a game, like, he had the wide open 3 for the game. And so you go back and you're like, damn, I don't even remember being in that situation. But, there were some reminders like, no, you definitely contributed in some way, but it felt like I earned it this time, because over there, being on lockdown for 21 days and only seeing us, us as in our men's team and the women's team, we created a bond. We all bonded together, and we had to, because A, you're just stuck together, and B, we lost a couple exhibition games, and everybody's like, oh man, the world is caught up to America. It's no longer Team USA, everybody's caught up. And then the women go lose a couple exhibition games. It's like, oh, everybody caught up to them too. And so you go over there, and then we lose the first game going over. And no one talks about Drew Holiday, who happened to be one of the most important pieces on that team, not being there. Devin Booker, who was extremely important to what we were doing over there, not being there. Chris Middleton, who helped shore up that second unit, not being there. And then them coming in the day of the game, not sleeping, and then us playing and just throwing them out there. Drew ended up playing 29 minutes, I think, that game. The game's only 40 minutes. Coming off a 16-hour, 13-hour flight. Never having practiced together, none of that. And we lose barely. And everybody's like, oh man, they're toast. You know, and even if you turned on like American sports talk shows, I mean, everybody's shitting on us, you know. And so it felt like us against the world, literally, not like us against the rest of the world, us against the world, including here, you know. That's how it felt. And, you know, everybody wants to see us lose. And so because of that, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, that shit was hard. Like, it was hard for us to win that medal. Like, we had to really fucking win it. Like, it was tough. And so because of that, it just felt like I felt so accomplished in doing it. And we felt so accomplished in doing it. And, you know, to lose in the World Championships, you know, a few years before, 2 years prior to that, you know, you got teams coming in thinking, oh man, we can beat them. No, the fuck you can't. Like, you can't. And that's how we felt, but no one else felt that way. And so to actually go accomplish it, it was a very special feeling. Like, it, honestly, you couldn't have told me that wasn't my first time winning a gold medal. And that one, winning that one actually felt like accomplishing the NBA championship to me. Like, the first one didn't, but that one did. It was very special.
So long story short, every experience is something you can learn from.
100%. I learned a ton from this experience. It was great, and I think I grew as a player. I think I grew as a leader, and I think I grew as a man in that situation.
Follow-up question is totally different though. How do you straddle a line between, you know, letting Andrew have his personal space and also knowing that what his absence might do to the team situation?
That would be like Andrew, who, as everyone knows, previously just had a kid, you know, maybe, I don't know, 5 months ago or so now. That would be like me telling him, like, yo, your wife is going into labor. How dare you leave this team and not go tend to your wife for what that can mean for this team? That's something that's personal to him. That's health related. That's, you know, something that's personal to his family. But this is no different. This is, you know, we're dealing with something that to me feels like has turned into a political war. When you're talking about a vaccination and non-vaccinated, I think it's become very political. And, you know, for someone who's not extremely into politics, when you make something so political and people, not everyone is into politics, then you can also turn those people off, you know? And, you know, I think there is something to be said for people's concern about something that's being pressed so hard. Like, why are you pressing this so hard? Like, so much, you're just pressing and pressing and pressing. I think you have to honor people's feelings and their own personal beliefs. And I think that's been lost when it comes to vaccinated and non-vaccinated. And it kind of sucks that that's been lost. Because you're essentially not giving anyone, you know, you say we live in the land of the free. Well, you're not giving anyone freedom because you're making people do something essentially without necessarily making them, you're making them do something. And that goes against everything that America stands for, or supposedly stands for. And so I don't think, no, I know I'm not in any position to go tell him what he should or should not be doing. And as a leader of this team, I'm not going to go to him and say, hey man, we really need, no the hell, you do what you feel you want to do. That has nothing, I'm not going to go and ask him, did he get a polio vaccine? So why would I go ask him if he got a COVID vaccine? You know, I remember the days when your medical history was private. I remember those days. I ain't that young to where I don't remember your medical history being private. And I also remember the days when you're voting, who you voted for was private. Your choice on whether you were Democratic or Republican was private. I remember growing up and asking my grandma, who you vote for? And boy, don't ask me who I voted for. I'm like, are you crazy? You know, I remember those days, you know, and it's not so much like that anymore, you know. So I'm a little old school, you know. I think, you know, we get away from some things as a country, as a whole, as a whole being of humans. You know, we always think we're doing better and you're getting better, and sometimes when you think you're doing and getting better, certain things get lost. And I think medical history right now is one of those things that's been lost. And it's not going back, you know, so I'm not sitting here, you know, crying for it to go back. It kind of is what it is. But I said all of that to say it's not my place nor my business on whether he gets vaccinated or not, or who else is vaccinated, or if you're vaccinated and I'm not, or if he isn't and she is. That's none of my business. And I think, you know, people in this world could do themselves a great deal if they actually took that approach as well, because it's, you know, it's your own personal choice at the end of the day, what you do with your body. And, you know, it's not my place to tell him what he should or shouldn't do with his. Like, that's, because he's not going to come tell me what I should do with my body. And, you know, so just because I am a leader of this team don't give me the right to go tell him what to do with his. That's his personal choice.
On a totally different note, you touched on the challenge of kind of merging the older group, the older guard, and the younger guys. You've always said the expectation here is a championship every year. Do you believe heading into this year, knowing the roster makeup and the differences between the older guys and the younger guys and trying to get them to grow during the year, that it is a realistic expectation going into the year that a championship is possible?
Is it a realistic expectation? There's always a realistic expectation of mine because it's something that I can control. I can control what I get out there on the court and do. And I'm always of the belief that if I go out there and I play great, you know, I can give us a chance to be great. And so, is it a realistic expectation? I don't know. But is it my expectation? Absolutely. That's, you know, you go find me the loser that don't believe coming into the season that they can win, and you find yourself the guy who you was looking for. You're looking for a loser. So it's always my expectation. Is it realistic? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But it is my expectation.
You made some headlines this summer with a podcast comment with the Durant podcast, kind of blaming Joe or Bob and Steve for the Durant situation. In your opinion, how is that relationship right now with you Bob, you Steve, and you, and just management in general?
Well, how's the relationship? I don't know. I don't think it's any different than it was before. As far as blaming someone, wouldn't necessarily say I blamed anyone. I kind of just told my side of the story, and you had never heard it before, really. You know, you've heard like bits and pieces of it, but you had never heard me just really, truly talk about it in depth. And you definitely hadn't heard me and Kevin talk about it in depth. And so I think that was just kind of a, like, oh shit, they talking. And everybody think like we got this like extreme hate or some shit like that, which is probably furthest from the truth that you can be. But, you know, I think for me personally, I really enjoyed that conversation. Why did I enjoy it? Because it showed me a lot of everything that I already believed, which is people really push narratives. And I saw people were sending me shit, because I don't really watch much nowadays. Between some shit that I'm working on and, my family and doing all of that, and then watching kids shows and, all that. I don't get to watch much of what goes on. But what it really showed me was everything that I already thought, which is people really push narratives. People sending me some stuff, and I saw some things where people was like, "Oh no, they're lying." Like me and Kevin are lying, just because what I said don't really fit their narrative anymore. Like the whole narrative of, man, Draymond's the reason that Kevin left and blah blah blah. When we sat down and talked, their narrative that's been pushed for 2 or 3 years or whatever it is, was kind of like, damn, your shit's not accurate. And I still saw people like, no, those 2 guys are lying, and this is what happened. Huh? Like, you are that stuck on the narrative that you want to push, that you're now going to come out and say, the 2 guys who were involved in it are lying. What the hell do we get out of lying? Like, what point are we proving? What does that accomplish? So if I took anything from it, it's just kind of what I already thought. I was just giving confirmation on, like, people are going to push narratives. And even when you destroy what their narrative could be, they're still going to try to push their narrative. So that's what I took away from it. I don't know if I was supposed to take like some deeper spiritual healing away from it, but what I took away from it is people going to push that fucking narrative that they want to push.
You don't feel like it affected any relationship with Steve at all?
Why would it?
Publicly calling out technically bosses.
Was I publicly called out?
Yeah.
Did it affect the relationship then?
You tell me.
You tell me. What do you think? You're telling me that you're hinting at because I publicly said something that the relationship should be altered now. But if that is the case, but then when I publicly was called out, the relationship should have been altered then too, right?
I think it was at the time. Not like forever altered,
Well, then maybe it was at the time, but not forever.
but there you go.
I don't know.
A couple questions for you, Dre. One, Zach LaVine called you like the best leader and teammate ever. And I was wondering, as you come into this year with the kind of cash you have, what is your leadership approach with this particular team? Is it same? Is it different given the circumstances? Last year, you were the old heads, and you had a bunch of youngsters, and now you have others. Does that impact how you lead this year?
It feels good to not to be old head again. Welcome back, Andre. It's great. Because that shit happened very abruptly. It went from like, yo, you still like one of the youngest. And like you have a lot of experience and you've accomplished a lot, but you're still kind of one of the young guys to like, boom, all of a sudden I was the oldest guy. Like Steph was out, Clay was out, Dre was gone, K was gone, D West was gone, everybody was gone. And it abruptly went from like, yo, you still one of the youngest to like, you are the oldest. That shit was confusing for me. And I adjusted to it eventually, but it was a little confusing from the beginning. So to have Andre back is incredible. As far as Zach LaVine's comments, I am extremely appreciative of those comments because, you know, we always talk about the respect of your peers. It just rings differently when you have the respect and appreciation amongst your peers. And, you know, when you're going into a situation like USA Basketball, for me, I know what my role is going on that team. I'm going to play some defense, I'm going to set some screens, I'm going to roll, shoot the ball if I'm open, but more importantly, lead the team. And in the situation we were in that I spoke on already, leadership was extremely important. Like it had to be extremely important. And to hear Zach say that, it really meant a lot to me. So I'm very appreciative of that comment that he made. as far as this team goes, I think you have to. It's day one for me. You know, I am a firm believer in order to lead someone, you have to kind of get to know them first. I haven't been around these guys much. You know, in my summers, I like to spend my summers and my off seasons with my family and my friends because we spend 9 months together and not being able to do much of that. And so I really try to spend my summers the way I want to spend them. So I haven't been around these guys much. And so I have to get to know, you know, a lot of guys. And, you know, a part of leading someone is you have to figure guys out. You know, like you got to know. Like I still have to figure out, I'm like, how do I get Otto Porter going? You know, like do I yell at Otto? Do I pull him to the side? Like what makes him tick? You know, I think that is an extremely important part of leadership. Like what's going to be the best way of helping JK move forward? You know, like, you know, what is that? I don't know. I can't give you that answer today because it's my first day. But what I have learned over the course of the last couple of years is no matter what that is, what it has to involve is patience. You know, that has to be somewhere in the sauce. Like it can't just be like, oh man, this guy is gonna get it immediately, and if not, fuck it. Like no, it definitely involves some sort of patience. So that's the one thing I do know coming into it, and you know, with a roster that's, as we spoke on, kind of young. You got some experience, but kind of young, and then you got guys who even has experience that, you know, there's a certain way that things have been done around here that you kind of got to catch up to speed. So I don't know, but I do know it will require some patience, but I'm not sure of what it's going to take yet.
And lastly, what do you expect from Jordan Poole this year?
I expect him to have a great year. You know, I think he has a chance, especially with, you know, with Clay not going to be ready for the beginning of the season, to really make an imprint. You know, and it's kind of that third year where, you know, I totally understand what's at stake this year. You know, you got the possibility for an extension. You know, you kind of get to that third year and they're figuring it out. You know, teams are figuring, you know, are you a part of the future plans or are you not? You know, so I know what's at stake for him this year, and I understand that and understand that pressure that comes with that. So I expect him to take a big step. I know he's worked his ass off. And I think, you know, the way he started contributing after getting back from the bubble last year, I expect him to even take that, you know, up a couple notches. So I think he'll have a great year.
Last one for Logan.
What's up, brother?
How do you missed a few days of training camp? But are you going to go right into gameplay, or you think you're going to, how are you going to work yourself into training camp? How do you feel you're going to do that? Or is it going to be just like today, where you just went right into a live game?
I went right into it today. Tomorrow's an off day, and then Saturday is whatever Saturday is, and I plan on whatever Saturday is doing that. So, when we play a game Monday, and Sunday we got practice, right? I plan on practicing on Sunday. And then there's a game on Monday, I plan on playing 2 minutes. No, I'm just playing. I don't know the plan, you know, like Steve's plan may be, I only want young guys to play. Like, his plan could be, I want you guys to play the first quarter. I don't know this plan. So whatever that plan is, I'm open to it. Like, I feel good, I'm excited about playing. So whatever the plan is, I'm open to it. But I don't know that plan yet.
Great, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't get 30 minutes, bro. Oh, yeah. Go back.